Alright guys, let's go ahead and get this. The self-love challenge for this week says, have faith. At every moment, and especially in times of challenge, each of us is confronted with an important choice. We will react out of fear, or we will choose instead to be guided out of faith. While fear can be an important messenger that signals us to pay attention, faith gives us strength and reassurance and leaves us bathed in the wisdom that we're never alone. Surrendering to faith is an act of courage. It's saying, even though I feel scared or I'm not sure where I'm going, I trust that all will turn out in my highest and best interest. When we make choices rooted in faith, we trust that there's a power, an unforeseen force guiding us. Faith gives us the ability to look beyond our immediate circumstances and imagine brave new choices for the future. Identify an area in your life where you're being held back by fear. Close your eyes and ask yourself, what is the message that my fear is trying to give me? What action would fear like me to take in order to protect myself? Next, notice if there's any area in your life that would benefit more from a little faith. Do you have enough faith to ask for what you need? Do you have enough faith to take a risk that might improve your situation? Allow yourself to see what actions you could take this week to build your faith muscle and commit to taking them. Alright, so that's this card for the week. We have the candle for money. So we're gonna do this. I absolutely love this card. Look how beautiful that is. Alright. Whatever I desire, I can acquire. The eternal law of the universe steadily holds the promise of expansion and joy. Understanding the laws of reawaken within you the knowledge of your purpose and your own personal power as you remember how to access the power of the universe that creates worlds. If this time-space reality has within it the ability to inspire a desire within you, it is absolute that this time-space reality has the ability to yield you a full and satisfying manifestation of that same desire. It's the law. Man, that candle's going crazy. Put it up here. Okay. Next we had the unity of life. One life runs through everything. The oak, the elm, the ash, my own body, the dove, the doe, the ox. All are creatures of one life. Rooted in this knowledge, I live carefully and consciously. I bless all creatures and all elements of the earth. Purpose and meaning. When I experience doubt and dismay, I welcome resurgence of faith and conviction. I allow my life to be tidal. I allow my life to fill and empty according to a plan higher than I might naturally perceive. And this right here, this is where it's calling you to have faith. Creativity. My creativity is an act of my soul. I am rooted in the creativity of the entire universe. My dreams and desires are funded by divine power, intended to bring divine good and harmony into the world. And I welcome joy. I invite joy to bless my life. I welcome joy to my heart. Not of the handmaidens of spiritual truth, gentleness, opening attention. These are the gardening tools which best encourage growth. Sorry, my wolf is barking like crazy. Hopefully he's not too loud in the camera. Energy flows where my intuition goes. When I'm in alignment with the love of the universe, peace cannot be disrupted. All right. So we had karma. There's nothing from a past life that cannot be addressed in the current one. So this is telling you here, have faith. You can make things right. You can set your life with an intent to break these karmic cycles that we're going through, and you can receive and you can have good karma as long as you set things right with the universe. Receiving. Every day it becomes easier to receive the highest divine plan and to trust my inner guidance. Look at that sun right there. We had a lot of this sun color the other day, and look, here it is again with the inner power. Give me the courage and the power to do what must be done. Sometimes in life we are called to do something that we don't want to do, or we feel like that it's not our purpose, or that someone else would be better to do it. But we have to remember who we are, and God knows why we were made here, because each one of us has a specific reason why they're supposed to be here. And God's not going to put you God's guidance will not take you where God's grace cannot protect you. Okay. Embracing worthiness. I feel worthiness filling every cell of my body, and it feels amazing. It looks like some people have found some self-love this week. This looks amazing, guys. Encountering conflict. Because look at all this pink. I don't choose sides. I take a stand. There is that inner power you needed. Because look, and also look right here. Okay, so the 6-point star is in like the tarot card, is the star, but here you got 2 triangles, and when I see the 6-point star, I think of 2 triangles coming together, because that is as above so below. When they connect, they make a union between man and God. Okay, and that is what we consider unity. We connect with us and with the higher power. So look at that. There's humans on earth, and there's God reaching down. So some of you guys might be experiencing coming into union with your person, or you're finding your faith. Okay, surrender to complete healing. I love this card. Open fully to the loving, compassionate forces of the universe that support your physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. Okay, I was only going to pull one of these cards today, but 2 popped out, and as they say, if it fell to the floor, it comes to your door, so we might as well go ahead and read both. And the first one is a number 5. Body and soul. Taking care of yourself, seeing yourself as a complete package, and that healing, feeling worthy. But a complete package, body not separate from soul, centering in your sense of self, comfortable in your body, your authentic identity, physical health. Extreme self-care is when you receive this card. Answer truthfully. Are you taking care of yourself? Your first choice may be to care for others before meeting your own needs. Check in with yourself. Are you experiencing halt, which is hunger, anger, loneliness, or tiredness? This card is a signal that it's time to take a break from your current focus and get busy taking care of you, because you are worthy of this care. What simple things require your attention so you can function optimally in your world and live your best life a day at a time? Okay. And this one here, look at this. This is so beautiful too. Beautiful uncaging. The prison of guilt, a need for self-inventory, rigorous honesty, accountability, making amends. At this time, you're being called to assess where guilt is playing a part in your life. Recognize how it's affecting you and others, and address it so you can release yourself from its grip. Guilt is a powerful emotional state, capable of transforming difficult situations. It keeps you accountable for your actions, and when you've done something that causes harm. However, it can also feed a self-sabotaging cycle that fosters codependency and a distorted sense of personal power. Self-blame can lead to behaviors that perpetrate low self-worth. Have you done or said something which you need to make amends? Have you disregarded a boundary or broken a promise? Guilt can make you aware of potential ways you have given injury and show you how to readdress the transgression. When you sincerely admit that you are wrong and begin the process to fix it, this is an act of accountability, responsibility, and liberation. Take a moment now to consider when you have harmed others or yourself. This knowledge will set you free from the story you tell about it, so you are able to connect with the truthful remorse. Now is the time for rigorous honesty as you take a self-inventory with a neutral state of mind. A good question to ask yourself now is why the guilt is there. You might be taking on a burden that is not even yours to carry. Pay attention, take action, and uncage yourself from the prison of your own making. So, someone could be feeling like they are trapped in guilt, okay? And it's showing that you guys are going to take the steps, okay? You're going to take the steps this week to embrace your worthiness, even though you encounter conflicts, okay? So this is the week for surrendering, complete surrender. Not surrendering to other people, not surrendering to a certain path, not surrendering to a certain outcome, just surrendering. Surrendering to the divine. Like that triangle, coming into union and fully embracing who you are, because you are good enough just as you are, okay? I think that's all I got for you today. Yeah. So keep the faith, because I have a feeling something's coming the next couple weeks may not be so great. For some, not all, some. You guys might be stressed out a little bit. So in this time, make sure that you don't feel guilty for taking a break. If you need a break, then remember, halt. That's how you'll know if you need a break. If you need a break, remember, it's not bad to take a break for yourself. Because if you don't take a break for yourself, then it's kind of like, as an analogy I always use, when you get on an airplane, the first thing they tell you is that if the air masks come down, put yours on first and help everyone around you. Because if you pass out while you're putting on someone else's mask who's already passed out, neither one's going to have any help. So make sure to take care of yourself first, and then it can go out and help everybody else. Or like the saying, fill your cup full first. Like that big Ace of Cups, fill it completely full. And then when it spills over with all that love, when you fill your heart with love and it starts to spill over, it'll flow out to everyone around you. and everyone will know you're full of love, and they will see that light in you. And that's what light workers are supposed to be doing right now, especially with everything that's going on, because a lot of people are going through a lot of stuff the next couple weeks. Like, I can already feel it, like, and so it's telling you there is a time to rest and there is a time to work. Okay, there's a time for everything. Don't feel bad on either one. And actually, my friend Tucker, he posted a video of an inchworm, and I told him what his inchworm spirit guide is. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and throw a video of inchworm here and let you guys know what it means. Sometimes you got to let your ass catch back up to your head, because, you know, you got to let it be the way it's supposed to be. You don't need your ass going over your head. Oh, there's a little fly. Okay. All right, so a fly means sudden change. So there may be some sudden changes coming up soon, but keep the faith, guys. And this. I keep wanting to say goodbye, but I want to stress this again. Some of you guys are gonna want to give up. I keep hearing someone's gonna want to give up. Don't. Someone feels like their dream's never going to come true. They're never going to get what they want. Don't give up. Do not give up. Do not. All right. We're not going to be done yet. I'm going to tell you a story. I don't know why. Okay. So, I'm starting to actually write this as like a children's book, for the next children's book that I write. Okay, so this man, he comes to God. And he's like, God, I really want to fall in love. He's like, there's all these beautiful ladies around, but they don't love me for who I am. Like, they just see that I have money, and they want my money. They don't love me for me, but I really want someone who loves me for who I am on the inside and not on the outside. And so God hears him praying and crying every night. And so God finally comes to him and he says, I hear you, son. And the son says to him, Father, when will I receive true love? Is it even meant for me? And God said, first, you must have faith. Once you have faith, then you will find your true love when you catch the sun. And he looked up at him and he said, God, you're telling me I have to catch the sun? And God looked at him and said, yes, but you have to keep the faith. If you don't keep the faith that you will catch the sun, then you will never catch the sun. And so he asked God, he said, when do I start? And he said, tomorrow. So the young man laid down and he thought and he thought and he thought and he thought, and he's like, I don't know how to catch the sun. This is going to be the hardest thing I've ever done. Like, this is so much. I don't see anybody else going through this trial in life. Like, nobody else has had to deal with this kind of a pressure just to feel loved. Like, they haven't had to go through this much. I don't understand why I have to do this. And he's like, all night he thought and he thought and he thought and he thought, and he started to get heavy burden. He's like, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it. And he remembered God telling him, first, you must have faith. And he said, okay, God, if you think I can catch the sun, then I will try, because I ask and you will provide as long as I do my part. So he woke up early the next morning at sunrise and he started running at the sun. He started running as fast as he could and as fast as he could, and he wore out by the end of the day, by the time the sun went down. And he got so tired, he just dropped to his knees and he's like, God, I failed. And he said, remember, have faith. So the young man went back home and he went back to bed, and he was so wore out from running and running and running and running, trying to catch the sun. And he goes to sleep, and it's the best sleep he's had in a long time because he's never been so wore out. And someone wakes him up super early and with a knock on the door, and it's like, hey, do you want to come out with us tonight? There's some people, we want you to meet this person. Do you want to go with us? And he's like, no. He said, it sounds like fun, but I'm sorry, I'm going to have to pass. I've got to catch the sun. And his buddy looked at him like he was crazy, and he's like, dude, you can't catch the sun? Are you insane? And so he's like, no, I must catch the sun. Otherwise, I will never find my true love. God told me I will find my true love when I catch the sun. And so the young man got up, and his buddy's like, all right, dude, well, the sun's coming up now, so if you're going to try to catch the sun, you better hurry along the way. And so the man steps out the door, and this time he's more prepared. He had got up, he had ate good breakfast, and he's like, I'm going to do this. Today is going to be the day. And he goes out, and he runs, and he runs, and he runs faster than the day before. And the sun goes down. And this day, he starts to feel sad. He's like, I went farther. I ran faster. And I still didn't catch the sun. A week goes by. He's starting to feel a little faint. And he's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I'm trying so hard, but I don't know if I'm ever going to catch the sun. Maybe it wasn't meant for me. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe that was God's way of letting me down nice, and gently telling me I'm not meant for true love in this lifetime. Maybe I should give up. And he remembers God tell him, you must have faith. So he's like, at this point, he had already started running 10 miles longer than the days before. And his legs are sore. So he gets in a hot bath and he goes to bed and he sleeps great. And the next morning, he gets up even earlier. And he's like, okay, I'm even earlier. The sun's not even up. He said, maybe if I run in the direction of where it comes up every morning, maybe I can catch it when it's coming up. Instead of trying to catch it when it's at its highest point in the sky. And so he takes off and he starts running and running and running. And then he has to turn around and follow it the opposite way when it crosses over. And so he's running and running. By this point, he's gotten pretty fast. And he's been able to go even farther than before. But by the end of the day, the sun still went down. And this day, one of his buddies that stopped him a week before said, dude, what's wrong with you? Why are you still doing this? I told you you would not be able to catch the sun. You're insane. And then all of his friends that were around him as he was walking back home through town said, this is crazy. Why don't you give up? You're wearing yourself out. Look, the heels of your feet have already hardened. You have ran so far, and for what? I feel like everyone's telling him, God is playing tricks on you. You are not going to be able to catch the sun. And he goes, and by this point, by the time he reaches his house, he's in tears. And he's like, maybe they're right. Maybe I can't do it. And the voice of God gets even smaller, but it's still there. And confirmation. And the voice of God is still there, telling him, have faith. First, you must have faith. Then you have to catch the sun. And so he lays back down and he cries himself to sleep, and he's like, he said, God, I'm doing this, but I'm gonna need your help. I surrender because I can't do this on my own. God, please help me. Don't let my strength, don't let my faith get weary when everyone around me is telling me I'm not good enough or I'll never accomplish it, and I'm not seeing any progress. I'm never gonna catch the sun, God. I haven't got any closer at all. And he hears that small voice get a little louder. He says, first, you have faith. Then you will catch the sun. And he says, okay, God, tomorrow I'm gonna catch the sun no matter what it takes. I'm gonna give it my all. I'm gonna give you everything. I surrender, God. Please be with me and help me. Tomorrow I'm gonna catch the sun. And the man gets up and he puts his shoes on and he starts like he did every other day. Except for this time, he ran a little faster and a little harder, and he gave every single ounce of him that he had. And while he was running, he had got to the point where he had passed yesterday, and he knew that he was a little bit further than he had got yesterday, and the sun was still up in the sky, and he had the chance to catch the sun. He was so much closer than yesterday. Today has to be the day when he heard someone screaming. He heard a lady screaming, please help, someone please help. And he turned and he looked, and there was a child that was on the edge of this mountain. No one could run that fast because their feet weren't hard. No one had the strength built up in them because they weren't prepared. But he had. God tested him. And he ran up that mountain. And he's like, God, I'm not going to catch the sun today, but maybe I can save this child. And he ran, and nothing bothered him because his feet were solid. His feet were strong, and his legs were strong, and his body was built to run up that mountain across the hard ground because he had trained listening to God, having faith. He's like, God, help me. He said, I may not have love in this life. I may not be able to catch it, but please at least help me save this child. And right at that exact moment, he got to where the child couldn't hold on no longer and fell. And that man caught the sun in his arms. And he was so relieved. He took the child in his arms and carried it down to his mother. And his mother was crying, and she was saying, thank you so much. I don't know what I would do if you didn't catch my son. And tears welled up in his eyes. For he knew when he looked inside hers, that was true love. That was the person that he was supposed to be with. God told him, first, you must have the faith. then you will catch the sun, and that's when you will find your true love. So God is telling you today, have the faith. Have the faith. Because what if he would have gave up the day when he was crying? What if he would have gave up when everybody in the town was laughing at him? What if he would have given when he thought, I will never catch the sun? But he didn't. God told him, keep the faith. Have faith. Then catch the sun. For all that time, he was thinking that the sun that he was running that hard for and that long for was to catch the sun in the sky. But what God was really doing in him was making him stronger, was making him prepared, was making him who he was supposed to be so that he could do what it was that he was supposed to do. God gave him inner power, but only when he surrendered. Okay, guys? And look at this. He's reaching up and grabbing the sun. I totally didn't plan this. I didn't even expect to tell this story, but that's my next child. My next child's storybook. So if you're starting to get worried, if you're starting to doubt that love is never going to come or it wasn't meant for you, maybe God's preparing you for someone else and you just don't see it yet. Maybe he's preparing your heart, because remember, don't look for the perfect person. Trust God to become the better person, and the perfect person will come unto you. Okay, guys? There's that union. Surrender to it and have faith. Now, this is all I've got for you. Bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Stay, even for a moment, that's okay. Even if the sky is turning gray.